In the vast hangar at Lagos Airport, a quiet group of engineers surrounded a massive silver jet engine mounted on a wheeled platform. A red tool cart stood open nearby. The wall clock's ticks rang sharply. A billionaire in a crisp navy suit checked his watch again. Engineers wiped their brows. Security guards stood alert by the doors. Then a clear voice sliced through the silence. "If you permit, I'll repair it." All eyes turned to the hangar's open entrance. A young woman stood there, her dress worn and hair disheveled by the wind and heat. She looked frail, as if meals had been few. Grease stained her hands, but her bright, steady eyes focused solely on the engine. Laughter broke the tension. "Is this a prank?" Engineer Tund asked, his smile tired yet amused. Tund, a seasoned expert in jet maintenance, repair, and overhaul with 20 years of experience, sighed. "We've been at this for 6 hours." One engineer muttered, "How'd she get in?" Another called, "Security, remove her." Two guards stepped forward. The man in the Navy suit, Victor Okafor, billionaire CEO and owner of the sleek Bombardier Challenger parked outside, raised a hand. "Wait." His voice was calm, commanding. "In my business, I've seen remarkable things. Let her speak." The guards paused. The young woman took a step forward. "Sir," she said, eyes still on the engine, "I heard your team mention a strange noise during landing, a whistling sound. Then the engine ran unevenly and failed to spool properly after shutdown. May I examine it?" Tun's jaw dropped. "That's exactly what happened," he murmured. Victor studied her closely. The hangar hummed faintly with generators and carried the sharp scent of jet fuel. Outside, gulls cried over the runway. Inside, silence gripped the room. "Hand her gloves," Victor ordered. Shock rippled through the team. The guard stepped back. Someone passed her a pair of clean gray gloves. Her hands trembled briefly as she put them on, then steadied. She approached the engine with quiet confidence, inspected the intake, traced the sensor harness lightly, and listened as if the metal could reveal its secrets. Crouching by a small panel near the compressor, she tapped it softly. "Do you even know what you're doing?" a young engineer scoffed. She ignored him, grabbing a flashlight and a small mirror. Her face hovered near the panel. "Here," she said quietly. The clamps misaligned. "It's tight, but in the wrong groove, causing a tiny air leak. That's your whistle under pressure." And here, she traced a wire. "This sensor's insulation is cracked, rubbing against a bracket. When it heats, it sends false signals, making the engine run rough." Tun blinked. "How do we miss that?" "Because the issues mask each other," she replied. "The leak causes the noise. The faulty wire makes the engine falter. Fix one, and the other still causes problems." Victor stepped closer. "Can you fix it?" She met his gaze, then glanced at the tools. "If you permit." His eyes held hers for a moment. "Do it." The hangar's atmosphere shifted. Doubt turned to curiosity. Her hands moved swiftly, precisely, loosening the clamp, repositioning it correctly, and securing it with a crisp click. She trimmed and re-insulated the sensor wire, sleeved it, and tied it away from the bracket to prevent further friction. She cleaned the area, checked it twice, then once more. Her work was like a musician playing a familiar tune. Tund leaned in, mouth agape. His lead engineer whispered, "She might be right, boss." "Time?" Victor asked, not checking his watch. 17 minutes, came the reply. The woman stood, sweat beading on her forehead. She removed the gloves, placing them neatly on the cart. "It's done," she said. Silence fell. Tund exhaled slowly. "We'll test it," he said, striving for authority, but his tone carried newfound respect. Victor nodded. "Roll it out." The crew sprang into action. The engine stand clattered across the polished floor. Outside, the afternoon sun bathed the tarmac in gold. A ground cart was connected, cables linked, and safety cones set. The team spoke in clipped, precise terms. The woman stood back, hands clasped, watching intently, ready to assist if called. "Who are you?" Victor asked quietly, stepping beside her. She hesitated, lips parting, then closing. Her eyes shimmered, but she blinked back tears. "If the test works," she said softly, "I'll share my name." He studied her briefly, then nodded. Tun's team completed their checks. He gave Victor a thumbs up. Victor returned it, striding to the control cart, his suit's hem sharp against the sunlight. He rested a hand on the starter switch, then glanced at the woman. She stood motionless, wind tugging her hair, her eyes burning with quiet intensity, like a flame refusing to die. All clear, Tund called. Cones were rechecked. Lines were secure. Two mechanics took safe positions. Warning beacons spun, casting red flashes across the Challenger's white wing. The air felt taut, as if Lagos itself paused. Victor's thumb hovered over the starter. The hangar clock ticked once, loud as a hammer. "Here we go," he said, pressing the button. The engine roared to life, its whine rising swiftly. Numbers surged on the control screen. The sound deepened into a steady rush, then a sharp alarm chirped. Tund's head whipped toward the panel. A red light flashed. The engine's hum wavered. All eyes turned to the woman in the tattered dress. She stepped forward, eyes fixed on the engine, raising a hand as if to say, "Hold on, listen." The hangar seemed suspended in time. Every mechanic, engineer, guard, and even Victor waited, watching to see if the engine would thrive or falter. The red light glared, its glow dancing on the engine's surface. The sound wavered, rising and dipping as if teetering between life and failure. The woman, still unnamed to them, spoke firmly. "Don't stop it yet. Listen closely." Tund frowned. "Are you mad? A warning light means risk. We could ruin the core." "It's not the core," she cut in, calm but certain. "The sensors recalibrating after my rewiring. Give it a moment to stabilize." Her confidence startled the room. Victor, seasoned by years of high-stakes decisions, read authority in her voice. "Keep it running," he ordered, silencing doubt. The turbines whined smoothed. The red light flickered once, twice, then turned green. Gasps echoed through the hangar. The engine's hum became a powerful, flawless roar, the sound of a perfect machine. Tund stumbled back, pale. An engineer's wrench clattered to the floor. Another muttered, "Unbelievable." Victor's lips parted, eyes wide with astonishment. For 6 hours, his top team had wrestled with this engine, failing. Yet in under 20 minutes, this unknown woman in a worn dress had succeeded where they could not. He turned to her slowly. "Your name?" His voice, though soft, carried like a storm. She swallowed, tears brimming, but standing tall. "Amara Okoye." The name struck Tund like a blow. "Okoye," he whispered. "From Nigeria Aerospace University. Top of her class. You're her." Whispers spread across the hangar. They knew the legend. The prodigy who dazzled professors, destined for greatness, then vanished 2 years ago, as if erased from existence. Victor's piercing gaze stayed on her. "Explain," he said gently. In the glow of the still humming engine, Amara's voice broke as she spoke. 2 years ago, my father announced he was taking a second wife. My mother couldn't bear it. She poisoned his meal, and when he fell, she ate the same food, vowing they'd die together before she'd let him break her heart. I was their only child, 20, fresh from university, ready to join a top aerospace firm. But watching them die before me broke me. I canceled my interviews, discarded my phone, and wandered until I lost everything. I ended up begging on the streets to survive." The hangar fell silent, save for the engine's hum. Tund lowered his head, ashamed of his earlier mockery. Amara's eyes glistened. "But I passed this repair center daily, staring through the fence, remembering the life I'd lost. Today, hearing your struggle, I thought, just once, let me try. Even if I was mocked or thrown out, I couldn't let my dream die inside me." Victor's throat tightened. Tears, rare for him, threatened to fall. A man of boardrooms and empires, he was moved by her raw honesty. Tund's voice broke. "You saved us. You saved him." He gestured to Victor's jet gleaming outside. "We'd have failed." Victor stepped closer, his shoes clicking on the floor. He placed a hand on Amara's shoulder. "You didn't just fix my engine. You showed me why second chances exist." He turned to the crowd. "You saw it. Remember this. Greatness isn't about looks or titles. It's about skill, truth, and heart." Today, this woman had all three. Amara trembled, unsure whether to bow or retreat. But Victor wasn't finished. "Amara Okoye," he declared, "you'll never beg again. You'll never wander homeless. I'll ensure the world knows your name." Applause and gasps erupted. Tund clapped, tears blurring his eyes. Amara covered her mouth, overwhelmed. For the first time in years, hope felt tangible, not a cruel echo. Victor checked his watch. "I need to be in London in 6 hours. You're coming with me." Her eyes widened. "Sir, you fixed my jet," he said. "You fly with me." The hangar roared again. Tund whispered to his team, "She's going to London. On the jet, she's saved." Moments later, Amara stood outside. gazing at her reflection in the jet's polished surface. She no longer saw a beggar but the woman she was meant to be. Yet as she touched the cool metal, fear surged. Was this real, or would it vanish like a dream? Victor's voice broke through. Get ready. The world will know your name. As Amara boarded the private jet, no one knew her story was only beginning. The Challenger's cabin gleamed like a palace in the sky. Cream leather seats curved around polished wood tables. Soft gold light poured from above. Amara sat rigidly by the window, her tattered gown and wild hair stark against the opulence. She stared at the runway lights, fighting tears. The door sealed, engines roared, and the jet surged forward. Her chest tightened with each vibration. Once, she dreamed of such a plane when her life held promise. Never had she imagined being here, not as a passenger, but as the one who'd save the machine, carrying them aloft. Across from her, Victor leaned back, exuding the ease of a man who owned the world. Yet his eyes stayed on Amara, studying her like a scholar with a rare manuscript. You handled my jet like it was your calling, he said over the takeoff's hum. Tell me, where did you learn? Amara swallowed. Nigeria Aerospace University, sir. I graduated first in my class, the first woman to earn a distinction in aircraft maintenance. Victor's brows rose. And yet you're here, in rags, starving. Shame burned her face. She looked at her hands. Life broke me. After my parents died, I lost my fight. Silence filled the cabin, broken only by the engine's steady drone. Victor opened a compartment, retrieved a small velvet box, and set it on the table. Open it. Amara hesitated, then lifted the lid. Inside was a gold bracelet, simple yet luminous, engraved with VO. Her breath caught. Sir, he raised a hand. This was my late wife's. She believed in uplifting the fallen. I'm giving it to you because you're not meant for the streets. You're meant to lead. Tears welled in Amara's eyes. She closed the box with shaking hands. Victor leaned forward. Tomorrow, in London, you'll meet JJ Jet Maintenance Executives, the firm that once wanted you. I'll introduce you as the woman who saved my Challenger. They'll listen. Amara's heart stopped. JJ Jet Maintenance. Her dream 2 years ago, buried under grief, now reborn. Sir, what if they mock me? She whispered. Victor's gaze softened. Then they mock me for trusting you. But they won't. Your talent is too rare. The jet leveled at cruising altitude. A hostess appeared, bowing. Dinner's ready, sir. Victor gestured to Amara. Bring her clothes. The hostess returned with a shimmering gold gown and a toiletry case. Amara's jaw dropped. This for me. Victor nodded. You won't walk into tomorrow's meeting in rags. You'll walk in as your true self. Amara smiled through tears, vanishing into the restroom. When she emerged, the cabin seemed to shift. Her hair, washed and tied in an elegant bun, gleamed. The gown fit her perfectly, transforming her from a beggar to royalty. Her eyes sparkled, as if hope had polished them. Victor stood, awestruck. He'd seen models in Paris, stars in Hollywood, leaders in London, but this transformation was unmatched. You look, he said softly, like destiny. Amara laughed shyly. I don't feel like destiny. I just feel like me again. Over dinner, they spoke quietly. Victor asked about her childhood dreams, her professors, and her love for engines. Her passion reignited, unlocking a long-sealed door. As the meal ended, Victor leaned back, his gaze unreadable. Amara, when we land, you'll have a choice. Walk away and vanish, or embrace the life you were born for. Which will it be? Her hands gripped the armrest, breath unsteady. She recalled street nights, begging for scraps, and days staring at the repair center, mourning her lost future. Now, a door had opened. Her voice wavered but held firm. I'll embrace it. I won't run again. Victor's lips curved faintly. Good. As the jet soared through the night, Amara gazed at city lights below, like stars on earth. She thought of her parents' tragedy, the betrayal, the pain. For the first time, they felt like shadows, not chains. She was stepping into the light. She whispered, I won't waste this. But neither she nor Victor knew destiny held more than a job. A storm awaited in London, secrets, choices, and someone who'd soon reshape her life. As the jet flew, Victor adjusted his tie, watching Amara with hope flickering in his heart. Yet a voice whispered, what if I'm wrong about her? What if she fails? Amara, too, felt fear twist her stomach. What if tomorrow breaks me again? The Challenger sliced through the Atlantic sky, carrying two souls toward fate. The jet's wheels touched London City Airport as dawn painted the sky orange. Amara pressed her hands to her knees, fighting inner turmoil. Every breath felt heavy, every thought loud. She'd told Victor she was ready, but fear gripped her now. Victor, pristine in his suit, noticed. "Amara," he said softly, "skills outshine appearances. Don't try to impress, just be you." A sleek black car sped them through London's wet streets, skyscrapers gleaming in the sunrise. Amara's eyes flicked between the city and her trembling reflection in the window. No more running, she told herself. By mid-morning, she stood in JJ Maintenance, Repair, and Overhaul International's glass and steel tower. The boardroom was vast, with high ceilings and screens showing aircraft schematics. Executives in sharp suits sat at a long table, their gazes cutting. A gray-haired man in glasses adjusted his tie, addressing Victor. "Mr. Okafor, we've waited 6 hours. I trust you have a compelling reason." Victor's voice was steady. "I do. Meet Amara Okoye, who fixed my Challenger when others couldn't." Whispers spread. A woman in a red blazer raised an eyebrow, eyeing Amara's gold gown. "She looks unproven. Is this wise?" Amara's chest tightened. She clasped her hands to hide their shaking. Victor's tone sharpened. "Judge her by her actions, not her appearance." The gray-haired man leaned forward. "Very well, Miss Okoye. Skill in a Lagos hangar doesn't equate to our global standards. What did you repair on Mr. Okafor's jet?" Amara inhaled deeply. This was her moment. The compressor clamp was misaligned, causing a leak that whistled under load. Simultaneously, a sensor wire's cracked insulation rubbed a bracket, sending false signals and making the engine run rough. The issues hid from each other, which is why the team missed them. "Engines speak, you just listen." The whistle was air, not core damage. The rough spool was a data error, not a mechanical failure. Fixing both restored the engine's truth. Silence blanketed the room. The executives stared. An older woman with silver hair and a bun tilted her head, impressed. "She's correct." The man in glasses frowned. "Anyone can recite a manual." Victor's jaw tightened, but Amara raised a hand. "May I?" The woman in red gestured to a screen. "Proceed." Amara approached the screen, where a digital engine schematic rotated. "Give me a random failure," she said. The man in glasses smirked. "Bold," he typed, and the screen flashed with scrambled data and a red warning light. Amara studied it, eyes narrowing. "It's not the turbine or fuel line," she murmured. "It's a vibration sensor giving false highs, either loose or miscalibrated." She tapped keys, isolating the issue. "See, the vibration doesn't match physical stress. It's a software echo. Recalibrate, and it's fixed." She turned, calm. "In reality, I checked the mount, but the engine's fine." The warning light vanished. The screen confirmed, sensor calibration error resolved. The room froze. The silver-haired woman spoke first. "She's right. Perfectly." The man in glasses leaned back, pale. Victor smiled slightly. "Now do you see?" The woman in red crossed her arms. "Her brilliance is clear, but running a branch needs discipline, leadership, and resilience." Victor stood. Amara has all three. She survived unimaginable loss, her parents' tragic deaths. She endured 2 years homeless, yet her knowledge burns bright. If that's not resilience, what is? The silver-haired woman nodded. "Perhaps we've underestimated women like her." She faced Amara. "Miss Okoye, if we gave you Lagos, our largest African branch, what would you do?" Amara's heart raced. She glanced at Victor, then back. "I'd make it the world's most profitable branch. Not for ego, but to prove no tragedy can bury potential." Silence held. Then the man in glasses sighed, setting down his pen. "Let her try? I can't deny her skill." The woman in red nodded curtly. The silver-haired woman smiled faintly. "Welcome to JJ Jet Maintenance, Amara Okoye. Lagos is yours." The words struck like lightning. Tears blurred Amara's vision. She bowed, whispering, "Thank you." Victor's hand rested on her shoulder. "You've earned it." But as they left, Victor's phone buzzed. His face darkened as he read. Amara noticed. "Sir, is something wrong?" His lips tightened. "Not everyone supports this. There may be resistance in Lagos." Amara's stomach sank. After reclaiming her life, was someone already plotting against her? The door to her future had opened, but shadows lurked beyond. The return flight to Lagos felt different. The Challenger's engine, which Amara had revived, hummed proudly, carrying her toward a life she'd thought impossible. Victor's phone buzzed constantly as he finalized her appointment. Amara should have felt triumphant, but unease lingered. Victor's warning, resistance in Lagos, echoed. At the Lagos branch, reporters swarmed the tarmac. Cameras flashed as news spread of a homeless woman outshining trained engineers. Victor shielded Amara as security cleared a path. Inside the gleaming new JJ Jet maintenance branch, tension hung heavy. Fresh paint and orderly equipment couldn't mask the staff's skepticism. Tund was there, invited by Victor to see Amara's first steps as leader. His face held respect, tinged with guilt for once doubting her. The regional director, Mr. Chukwu, approached, his handshake rigid. "So, you're the woman from the headlines," he said coolly. "I struggle to believe someone so untested can lead Africa's largest operation." Amara met his gaze, heart pounding but steady. "Judge me by my deeds, not my past," she replied softly. Murmurs rippled. Some staff nodded, others remained skeptical. A week later, a crisis hit. A high-profile client's Gulfstream jet reported severe engine issues before an international flight. Failure would ruin the branch's reputation before Amara could establish herself. Chukwu crossed his arms. "Let's see the miracle worker prove herself." His doubt stung. Amara swallowed fear. "Bring it in." The jet rolled into the hangar. Mechanics whispered as Amara circled the engine, her fingers grazing the metal like a doctor seeking a pulse. She closed her eyes, drawing on years of study and her unextinguished passion. "It's not fuel," she said after a pause. "It's a faulty bleed valve, sticking open under load, starving the compressor of air. That's the stall." Tun nodded. "She's right. I saw it too, but she diagnosed it faster." Chukwu scowled. "Fix it then. If you fail, the branch fails with you." Amara led the repair with steady hands, guiding the team, explaining each step. Within hours, the engine roared flawlessly. The client, amazed, shook her hand and vowed to spread word of her skill. The staff cheered, but Amara saw Chukwu's tight jaw in the corner. His wounded pride spelled trouble. That evening, alone in her office, Amara felt the weight of her victory, but Chukwu's glare haunted her. Another knock came. Victor entered, beaming. "You've done more in a week than most do in years. Lagos thrives under you." Amara smiled faintly. "Not everyone agrees." Victor sighed. "Envy speaks louder than praise. But you've planted something unstoppable." Before she could respond, another knock. David, Victor's son, stepped in, taller than she'd imagined, with a warm smile and eyes that studied her keenly. Fresh from his MBA in London, he was the company's accountant. "So, you're Amara," he said softly. "The woman who saved my father's jet and now leads Lagos." Amara blushed. "I don't lead. I listen to what the machines need." David chuckled. "And people, too. You hear better than most." Over weeks, their paths crossed often. Dinners at Victor's mansion, late nights in the office, talks on the balcony overlooking Lagos skyline. David's calm soothed Amara. Her fire inspired him. Staff noticed David's lingering gazes and Amara's bright smiles. One evening, after reviewing contracts, David led Amara to the balcony. The city glowed below. He faced her, heart racing. "Amara, you stormed into our lives. You fixed what others couldn't. Not just engines, but hope. I can't imagine life without you." He knelt, offering a diamond ring that sparkled like the city. "Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Amara's face. Once invisible, now cherished. "Yes," she whispered. Months later, Lagos hosted a wedding that dazzled. The cathedral gleamed with flowers and chandeliers. Nigeria's elite filled the pews, reporters crowding outside. Victor walked Amara down the aisle, his eyes wet. "You were a girl in rags who fixed my jet," he whispered. "Now you're my daughter." At the altar, Amara's vows rang with strength and humility. "I lost myself in my parents' tragedy, slept on the streets without hope. But one day, I said, if you permit, I'll fix it." That changed everything. Today, I lead Africa's top jet maintenance branch and marry the son of the man who believed in me. This proves no darkness can hide light forever. The cathedral roared with applause. Victor wept, hands raised in gratitude. A year later, Amara held her newborn son, Emmanuel, named for Victor's late father. David stood proudly beside her. As Victor cradled his grandson, tears fell. He'd built empires, but this, a restored family, a continued legacy, was everything. To Amara, he whispered, "You were the answer I never expected. My life is whole." Amara, once a beggar, smiled through tears. She'd found her purpose, her love, her place. Her story, from rags to inspiration, now moved the world. What's your take on this story? Where are you tuning in from? If you love this tale, comment, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories.